Well, howdy, partner. Why don't you pull up a seat and have yourself some sarsaparilla as we take a look at a Western today? Yes, sir. We're looking at Showdown in Yesteryear. It's brought to us by Aaron Bratcher, who directed this story written by Gregory Lamberson and Tim O'Hearn. And we get the story of Daryl Dumworthy, who's had a really bad day. Loses his job, he loses his girlfriend. Things just aren't looking up. And when he just has given up all kinds of hope, he soon finds himself transported 160 years in the past to a Western town. It happens to be his favorite era. Well, when he realizes that this isn't no Western theme park, he finds himself caught up in a small town conflict between the shifty rich man of town, Orson Kane, and the Sheriff Dobbs, a famous sheriff, in fact. And we see how Daryl deals with being caught up in this conflict, trying to find his way back while at the same time realizing he may be where he belongs. But is he? Well, that question keeps coming up as he runs into this conflict and tries to learn the ways of the West. Showdown in Yesteryear is a delightful Western that has some dark themes. It goes to some heavy places, but not too heavy. I loved how Aaron Bratchett handles this material. We cover the subjects of depression and all of these other angles, but then we also get pulled into this Western story that's this classic Western that, yeah, it follows those tropes, but when you realize that's what they're going for, I think you'll embrace them and find them enjoyable, especially because of the performances of everyone involved. First, Daryl Dumworthy, played by Jeff Grenell, is fantastic. This is a sympathetic character. You feel for this guy. You want to reach into the screen and just give him a hug, man. You're like, it's gonna get better. But seeing how this character takes to the Western world and the world that he ends up being pulled into, and kind of the joy that he has, even when he realizes that his life may be in danger, I loved that angle of it and the layers that are to Daryl Dumworthy, and those come across thanks to Jeff Grenell. Now, Deborah Lamb shows up as Marion McMurdy, who runs the local store in town and ends up kind of catching the eye of Daryl, and I loved her performance as well. This strong widow who is just trying to make the best in this Western town that has so much conflict going on. And yeah, she puts in a great performance. And I really loved her scenes with Jeff. They really hit it off and have that connection. Then Vernon Wells playing Orson Kane. I love that name, by the way, Orson Kane. Yeah. As the rich guy who has some shifty underdealings trying to buy the politicians and such, and is his own sheriff so he can do whatever illegal things he wants in town. Played wonderfully. Vernon Wells just eats that up and does such a great villain here. And who also does a great villain is Jesse Marciniak, who plays Jesse Bristol. This is a scary individual. I love that he's got the craziness to him. There's a little bit of controlled craziness, not too much, but he's not like full Joker. He makes this guy his own. He is kind of that crazy Western villain we've seen in the past, but he plays it well, and that's what you want for this story. This story is a send-up, an homage to Westerns. It's not trying to break the mold, but it is taking that mold and presenting it in an interesting way. Now, Aaron Bratchett does make a Alfred Hitchcock performance in here. It's showing up as a bartender a number of times. It was great seeing him, and I love the Sheriff Dobbs character, played by Steve Graff. Played so well. He just felt like that old Western sheriff, right? That ultimate good guy who's just trying to be best and keep the town safe and do what's right. The setting was great when they got pulled into the past. It felt like a Western town by the costuming and the set design and everything that they had in there. Really felt like Daryl Dumworthy was in this Western era. And I loved how it played out. Again, it doesn't get too heavy. There's some dark moments, there's some interesting moments, and some heavy themes in here. But at the same time, it doesn't get too weighted down in that and keeps that Western spirit. So by the end of it, I think you'll be smiling and tipping your hat as the credits right off into the sunset. So there you have it. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. Showdown in Yesteryear. Check it out, Western fans. It is a decent Western that I think is worth your time. That's got a little bit of the time travel in it, but I love that little extra twist to it that adds some extra charm. Thank you so much. Check out our Patreon if you haven't already. We got a lot of great stuff there. More we can do there, more we can do here. And like, subscribe, and all that here. Trying to get to 2,500 subscribers or more by the end of the year. Can only do that with your help. So I thank you so much. And until next time, remember to keep that ticket stub